Lovely and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports and some interesting news. Bongi Mbonambi has officially finally opened up on the incident, the racial incident that allegedly happened between him and Tom Currie during the build-up or during the semi-final, which affected the build-up to the Rugby World Cup final a little over 3 weeks ago. He has finally addressed the situation, come out, and he's actually taken aim a little bit at England Rugby, saying that they were unprofessional about the situation. Very interesting to actually hear from him finally in a interview with the BBC Africa. So before we talk about exactly what he had to say, as well as this, so I suppose finally sort of putting a pin in the scenario, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well on our road to 70,000 subscribers. So if you didn't, if you missed out on the incident, Tom Currie accused Bongi Mbonambi of using a racial slur against him, which was a white C word, and he said that he used both on, and then evidence sort of came up, well, not evidence, but allegations came up that it was used both in the semi-final as well as the year before, and that sort of all spiraled into was a very weird situation. Now, World Rugby did investigate it, and said that it was important to note that World Rugby accepts that Tom Currie made the allegation in good faith and that there's no suggestion the allegation was deliberately false or malicious, but they reviewed the findings and said that there was insufficient evidence that he had used the alleged term. They've now finally spoken to Bongi Mbonambi, and this is what he had to say. He said, I think it is a very sad thing when you live in a first world country, England, you think the rest of the world speaks English. It was unprofessional on their part. They could have gone on a website and looked for an English dictionary and looked for the word in Afrikaans. People understood in South Africa, but obviously their side was misunderstood. So basically the entire thing was, and this people were saying in South Africa, is that the word that he used was cunt in terms of meaning side in Afrikaans, not the English as a word, which sounds very similar. He said that I'm glad it was well taken off by World Rugby and that it's all in the past now, but I never racially swore at him. So once again, doubling down and denying it completely and just saying it was completely lost in translation and therefore was actually a non-incident, which is what a lot of South Africans said. And it was always going to likely that was probably the case. You do have to be careful though. As I said, I was obviously very cautious about saying, matter of fact, oh, that's definitely what happened when we needed to find out what actually happened. And that seems to be the case, and that's why World Rugby accepted that there wasn't as insufficient evidence to back up the claim. He was asked about his relationship with Tom Currie, and Mbonambi said, "I don't know him at all." And then speaking about the week, for example, as well as the injury, for example, he said that it didn't feel good at all. The whole injury, so as it happened, I knew something wrong, but all credit free because he played his part. I was opening a little bit about the final itself and the fact that he didn't get to play during that final. So, I think this will probably be the last we really hear of the incident. It was probably important for him to get his own version out there and to reaffirm that this was the issue, that it was, because even then, in the various statements and stuff that World Rugby and SU Rugby made, none of them talked about the idea of lost in translation. Nobody mentioned that aspect of the story. So that's the first time we've had a confirmation that is what apparently happened. It is interesting. It is interesting, and it's always going to be an interesting dynamic with regards to this concept of different languages being on the field and being wary of the fact that not everything's going to be in English. For example, the French players won't speak English. Your Argentinian players speak Spanish and stuff like that. But that is hopefully the end of the entire saga. I think he probably felt it was important to get his story out there and sort of clear his name. Probably quite justifiably quite annoyed with the way England should create it. It couldn't have been an easy week building up to the World Cup final, having your name in the papers, being accused of this, having to sort of give statements, having to worry about whether you're going to potentially be able to play in the World Cup final, especially him who was having such a great tournament, in such good form, and all of a sudden, his participation in the final potentially at risk. So, hopefully that's it. Hopefully you've buried the hatchet and he can move back to the Sharks and he can get the season going as soon as possible with that knee injury and go from there. He's playing some fantastic rugby at the moment with Bongi Mbonambi, and Sharks, well, they're going to need him. Not off to a great start so far this season and could definitely do with a bit of Springbok quality coming into their side. Let me know what you think about the entire incident down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.